Habit number 5 is you're too comfortable watching Netflix. The average American is watching more than 3 hours of television a day. At the same time, the average American house has over $6,700 in credit card debt. Now let's do a little bit of math. Let's assume you had $6,700 extra today and you invested this money and you never invested another penny again. You invested this money and you got an average 25% return a year, and you invest your money for the next 40 years. Again, you're not investing any more money, you're just investing the $6,700 that you have today. You're never investing another penny again, and you're averaging the 25% return. When it comes time for you to retire, you're gonna be rich. You're gonna have over $50 million when it comes time for you to retire. Now you might be wondering, well, Jaspreet, that's kind of an odd thing to say. If I'm in credit card debt, how do you expect me to invest this money and how am I going to get the 25% return? Well, here's the interesting thing. This is below the average credit card debt per American household, while the average APR on your credit card debt is around 25%, which means this is the math that your credit card company has done. This is why your credit card company is living in those big buildings, flying around in private jets, is because you are making them rich. And at the same time, the average American is watching hours and hours of Netflix, TV a day. If you are in credit card debt, you cannot afford a Netflix subscription. Not because it costs $15 a month, but because it's costing you 3 hours of time a day. That's time you could be using to learning. That's time you could be using to learning how to earn more money. That's time you could be using to learn how to invest your money. That's time you could be using to learn how to pay down your debt. That's time you could be using to actually earn some additional money. You should not feel comfortable sitting there on the sofa after a long day watching Netflix when you know that this is what's making your credit card company rich. You gotta get out of that cycle. Habit number 6 is you're jumping over dollars to save a few pennies. We all know a broke cousin Bunty who will very easily spend $1,000 when it comes to going out, buying bottle service, eating out, and paying cover. But when it comes time to spending a few $100s on education to learn how to be a better investor, to learn how to earn more money, to learn how to be a better person and live a better life, the money's gone. When it comes time to book a trip to Cancun, they're the first ones to book their tickets, even if they gotta finance it because, well, American Express has got a promotion going on. But when it comes time to spending a little bit of money to improve your financial education, they're the ones to question it for days and weeks to see if it's a worthwhile investment. We are bred to spend money. It's very easy to spend money on going out, having fun, getting these experiences, and that's all cool, but I also want you to think about investing in your own education as well, and invest some money, some time, some energy into your own education. That was one of the things that really changed my life, was starting to invest, starting with books. Then I bought classes. Then I got some more stuff after that, but you gotta be willing to invest a little bit of time and energy. I'm not saying go out and spend all of your money on this education, but there is a time and a place on something that might be worthwhile, whether it's a course, whether it's investing in research, whether it's investing in a conference or a seminar. Go out there and start learning, because your financial education is what's gonna allow you to earn more money, invest better, grow your money, and build wealth. And we don't learn these things in school, but you gotta be willing to invest in yourself to do that. And habit number 7 is asking for permission to get started. I hear the same questions year after year after year. Jaspreet, I don't know where to get started. Just tell me what to do. How do I start? Well, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You can go on Google, find a stock brokerage that you like. If you want to build wealth, you just gotta get started. And people get so scared to make the initial $100 investment. And I get it, it is scary, but listen, you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna screw up, but you're not gonna be able to screw up and get to the promised land. You're not gonna be able to get to the success until you actually take action. You got to be willing to screw up. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna make bad investments. You're gonna open up with bad brokerages. You're gonna lose money. It's a part of the process. We've all been there. Trust me, I have made a lot of mistakes, but you gotta be willing to try. Go onto Google and see what are some good brokerages out there. Then find some good stocks. Maybe start with an index fund. Maybe start with an ETF. Maybe start with a mutual fund and get started with a little bit. Just dip your toes in the water. Start with $10, $50, $100, whatever you're comfortable with, whatever you're comfortable losing. And then start to learn, because as soon as you invest some of your own money, what you're gonna do is you're gonna start analyzing a whole lot more. But you gotta be willing to put in the work and try and screw up. I know the first time you invest, it's very daunting, but it's kind of like getting in shape. When you want to get in shape, it's very easy to get overwhelmed with, oh my God, should I do high intensity workouts? Should I do low intensity workouts? Should I be doing carnivore diets? Should I be doing a vegan diet? Should I be doing this exercise, that exercise? When at the end of the day, all you got to do is put down the donuts, put down the ho-hos, and get on the treadmill. And then maybe after getting on the treadmill, you start doing some weightlifting. And then once you start doing that, now you can start optimizing your diet. And then when you do that, now maybe you can start optimizing your workout. But you just got to get started. It's the same thing with building wealth. You just got to get on the treadmill and hit the on button. And that means get yourself a stock brokerage and just put in $50 and try something. Then you can start to improve. You're gonna lose money. It's a part of the process. You've heard me say it a million times. Investing has risks. You're never guaranteed to make money when you invest. In fact, you will lose money at some point. So make sure you always do your own due diligence and never blindly trust a random guy on YouTube. And the reason why I say this is because it's a part of the process. But unless you're willing to try, unless you're willing to fail, you're never going to be able to get to where you want to go. And again, if you want some additional resources, you can check out Market Briefs to get the daily reports and my investing masterclass as a bonus. If you enjoyed this clip and you want to continue your financial education journey, I have another video that I think you'll love. All you got to do is click that button right over there. And for those of you who want to stay up to date on the top finance and business news, you can join Market Briefs, my free financial newsletter, by clicking that button below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.